guys, good morning. It is October 5th, 2022, which is a Wednesday, and I am coming at you with the excitement of doing cards again because I don't know if it's a day or two or more than that, but however long I literally missed doing cards, and I was like, wow, maybe that's what was needed, because that is so interesting. So I missed having it in my life, even though I think I was doing it more so for myself a little bit there, but I was like, I really kind of just like to talk about the energy of the day, I think, more so. And also shuffling, right? The movement of shuffling is really good, but yeah, I just like I missed expressing it, like feeling into it, you know, kind of honoring the day, also blessing the day whenever I come on, like extra, you know, because I like to bless the day for sure in terms of, you know, what lies ahead. And I love doing it for, you know, for others that like the sound and the feeling of that. And that normally maybe can't even think of doing that for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's that self-love talk, that self-love energy. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Wow. We shuffled those nice, and Spirit is having them come out real nice, real quick. Okay, this is really interesting. The Midway Happy Way. Alright, Spirit's saying not to start with that. Okay. And it's funny because the yin card of the day, which is, so what is it? Today's Wednesday, so it is, I'm also getting wealth for some reason, so we're going to add wealthy health. We're going to add wealthy healing. We're going to add wealthy joy and wealthy laughter, okay? And for, that's basically the feng shui themed day, right? What I just racked off there. And the yin card for today, or the card that represents today really, and it's going to more so represent 3 o'clock on. I'm having some, by the way, I love fucking iced coffee in the South. Oh my god, I love it. Or when it's hot out, oh, it's the best. Anyhow, and side note, I created like such a good breakfast for myself this morning, which was phenomenal, and it also felt like I was eating at an IHOP, which I was like literally like the smile on my face this morning. It's like I was so happy, and I got so hungry early. Like I was cooking fucking eggs like in the dark. Like it was so funny. I was like, what am I doing? It was just more so like I was really hungry, and I needed something like warm and kind of a lot in my belly. And meanwhile, I love breakfast, but I normally just like run, you know, run and go, whatever, take it to go. In terms of just like snacky snacks, you know, or like a fruit. Because fruits are really underrated, guys. That's all I have to say. Like, if I had kids, I'd do fruits all the time. Because the whole thing is, like, you don't have to cook it. Like, fruits and yogurt and, like a parfait type thing. So super quick. Like, you wash it and you fucking dry it and you fucking eat it. Like, there's nothing to it, you know? Cereal, super fucking quick. But cereal, I feel like at least fruit fills you up a little bit more. Cereal really kind of doesn't. You're going to be hungry, like, within a half hour, you know? It's like Chinese food to me. Even though sometimes Chinese food doesn't do that to me. A lot of people like to believe that like Chinese food leaves you hungry, but I don't really experience that all too often. So I'm just being funny with that. Also, funniness and hilariousness is a part of this theme day today. However, and we're going to see the funniness out of this card, is that 3 o'clock and on, it says it's not the right time. So I don't know if maybe I'm sensing somebody's going to be excited about something and they really kind of want to do it, but it's not going to be the right time. I also sense maybe a bit of confusion in terms of like you wanting to do something and then you're kind of, but also it's very much so And I feel like this card is definitely describing more so of a maybe stronger Libra energy that's coming through today. But it's interesting because we got Libra energy, but also it's the 5 of freedom, but also 5 is a little bit of controversy, controversial energy, even though it has so much freedom, right? But also it's in a good way because of the fact that not an official theme of the day, but the sub theme of today in terms of what's been coming up a lot is more so reeling it in. So I just feel like this card has a lot to do with reeling it in. Like you might want to, you might feel the freedom of so many different things. You might feel ADD-ish, which is also a little bit of a Libra thing. And just because they're like highly creative and like also sometimes, since it's an air sign, I'm going to just say this, and I don't know if it's scientifically true, but just off of feeling, I feel like Libras, because they're not so much in touch with their feelings, they're always on the go and kind of on to the next, so that they kind of dismiss their feelings a lot faster. But meanwhile, because they're not in touch with their feelings is probably why. And so when you dismiss and you run, right, that's like ADD. You don't want to fucking deal with it. You just want to run, right? And so that's kind of like an ADD thing to do, you know? But also it's, you know, inner child, it's creativity. And if you're ignoring that part of yourself, you're going to have a double time ADD, right? But also if you ignore the important part of yourself, which are your feelings, right? And it's not the self-blame. I think people get it very mixed up when people are like, oh, like if I have to get in touch with my feelings, that means I have to feel about all these things that, you know, I've done wrong and that I don't do perfectly. That's another Libra thing. They want to do everything perfect. You know, because they're about beauty, right? So beauty is like quote unquote like perfection of sorts, right? So like they kind of like they berate themselves a little bit in terms of just, if it's not perfection, then what the fuck is wrong with me? And I think they overthink it too much because they do rule the mind, right? So they overthink it and they think that they are negatively to blame, but really there's no, like cut out the blame. There's no blame. Like just erase it. You know what I'm saying? Just deal with what it is in terms of, okay, this is that, and now you're going to fucking see, you know, you have to apply yourself a little differently, and then you're going to see a different result, right? So there's no, in self-love, there's no self-blame, but also in self-love, there is a being real with yourself, which is not self-blame, but more so what I just said, which is, okay, here's what was done. Here's what I have to change in order to get a different result. And then, you know, be more happier with that. Like, there's no self-blame. Actually, self-blame is going to literally take you back a couple of notches, right? So like you have to, and my whole thing is, I like the way that came out because of the fact that it doesn't allow it, like it's more non-emotional, right? Like it's like, oh, the blame is the emotion. So if you just cut out the negative, you know, blame game or negative, you know, energies of which are, you know, the negative emotions that you either think about yourself or the issue at hand, or, you know, like it literally is like you're cutting out the pressure, right? So, that you're putting on yourself. So that's basically how to treat that situation. But what I wanted to say, I'm going way deep and I only have an hour. So my whole thing is, and I always try to get these done in 20 minutes, but again, I'm not gonna like berate myself. I'm just gonna, I want to be free, you know? I want to be free, but I also want to be in self-control, which is the most freedom that you can actually have, is to be in your self-control, to kind of, like I said, reel yourself back in, to know when too much is too much. Also, limitations. A lot of people see that as a negative thing. It is a beautiful thing. It is a way that you save your fucking energy. And I love that shit. I love it. So not the right time is basically maybe just being all over the place in terms of confusion. You want to do something, you don't want to do something, but then you really, you know, and cut out the shoulds, but I'm going to just say the shoulds might come up. I should do this, I should do that. So just cut that shit out. Cut out the blaming, cut out the should. But however, just know that if you want to go after something, and the moon is in Aquarius, so it's going to make you do like really big, massive things, right? Like Aquarius is a very large thinker, I feel. And so you might just not like if you, for instance, yesterday the moon was in Aquarius. If you felt, and I know there were like slightly different energies, this is more maybe a yang energy in comparison to yesterday's energy. Yesterday you might have done something a little bit more out of your comfort zone, right? But today is a little bit more, actually it makes a lot of sense because yesterday was Tuesday, which is a little bit more yang. Wednesday, it's getting even a little bit more yang. So it makes a lot of sense in terms of it being a more yang thing that you might be led to do. But also just know that you went through a lot yesterday in terms of doing something yang, and you just literally have to kind of regain your self-control back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to say is that what you did yesterday was enough that you might just want to rein yourself in a little bit for today, you know? And that's just for you to that's just for energy management is what I'm hearing, right? Energy management, which is, amen. Oh my God, I stand for energy management. That is so beautiful. Oh my God, I'm going to post that up as my next service. Energy management consultation, bitch. Yes. Cheers to that with a coffee. That's what that is. That's amazing. So not the right time is not a bad thing. It's just like it might not be worth your time. That's what it is. Worth your energy and or time. And by the way, when people say time is money, no, time is energy. Time can be money, but really time is energy. So it's like so when you're talking about time management, you're talking about energy management. Where do you want your energy to flow? Where is it going to generate more money? Or where is it going to generate more, memories, as, a lot of Libras like to call it, right? So, that's where you kind of want to put in your time in terms of, meaningfulness, which, by the way, I don't take that back. Money can be super meaningful. Money is extraordinarily meaningful. But you yourself have to find that reasoning within the money, right? So that's why I don't mind when people say time is money, because money to me is meaningful, and what was I gonna say? I gotta breathe. Okay, breathe. Breeding can be different. I was like, breeding, it sounds cool, but it might, not the right time. We're not the right time. What's funny is that the next card, in the Midway Happy Way, between today and tomorrow, of which are the two cards, right, which the two cards represent, is actually the word no. So it's so funny because it's like that is another what is it called, confirmation of me just saying not the right time, and also placing some boundaries, which is no, right? So when you're talking about breeding, maybe somebody out there, because I bring up funny things, but they're also very intuitively inspired. So the whole thing is, when I'm saying no, I think that somebody out there, whoever is possibly thinking of maybe having a kid, or having a kid with a certain somebody, or maybe somebody out there is like believing that if they have a kid, which, here's the thing, I understand both sides. One side of the spectrum is, babies are miracles, they bring upon miracles, so I'll be fine, right? Even if I'm not ready to have a kid, even if I'm not financially stable enough to have a kid, even if I find somebody that is willing to have a kid with me, but yet we're not in love and I just need his sperm. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit, the answer is no to all of that. Because the whole thing is, out of self-love, you want to be financially stable for when you decide and choose to have a kid. You don't want to have it out of fear-based energies that you're not going to be, you're not going to be, like, you're only young for so long, you only have so many fucking eggs. Listen, if you believe in the miracle of a fucking baby, you can believe in the miracle that God can do anything that is right for, you. So my whole thing is, I don't get scared with any of that, because I think what we all need to be doing, and this is like for divine feminines, or divine feminines would know, but I guess like just whatever. The feminines in all areas, right? Because everybody has something and everybody doesn't have something. We're all like lacking and we're all like abundant at the same time in different areas of our life, right? But what I'm saying is, and maybe we all just be abundant in all areas of our life so we can get a little bit smarter. I think that's where I come into play, because I feel that way. But also that's kind of where my wisdom comes from, is the abundance, it's the abundance energy, amen, of the wisdom side. And so my whole thing is, I just feel as though, if you believe in the miracle of babies, and, some people may be wanting it so bad and they're going to fucking have a baby without having fucking money, and the money's going to come from somewhere, and it comes from source, but there has to be some sort of quote-unquote balance, another word for Libras. So my whole thing is, the balance is in the beauty of establishing yourself first and foremost as a strong, female mother and or father, right? Like whatever it takes. My whole thing is, if I come from an abundant energy, there has to be both a mother and a father figure, right? Whether that's traditional or non-traditional, it doesn't fucking matter, but there has to be both. And so the whole thing is, and not has to be, right? Because I understand, maybe has to be is a little harsh, but like my whole thing is, when I say has to be, it can come from anywhere too. It doesn't have to be like, oh, like you can have guardian figures in your life, right? So what I'm saying is, strong guardian figures. It doesn't mean, because a lot of people are like born when they're, when one of their parents dies, right? So that doesn't make you like less than anybody. You know what I'm saying? That is just literally like, you will have your father figure in somebody else. It could be an uncle. It could be, like that type of thing. It could, and I don't know why I'm just sticking to father, but I'm just saying, like, it could happen to a mother. It could happen, where you get an aunt or a grandma or an aunt that like are, your mother figures. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, there has to be an establishment, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Spirit, of somebody who's willing to take care of this baby, if that is what you are, if that is one of your dreams that you want to have come true. So the money has to it has to be there from you first and foremost, and then obviously you can figure out who the different, role models will be in a baby's life, or in your child's life. A baby grows into a child. So, so for now, I just want you to know that you should start to work on yourself in terms of just accepting things, that things may or may not happen. And that's not to be discouraging. That's more so to be like, just to kind of put you at more peace in this life, because that is literally what's going to get you to your optimal result, is the peace within yourself, whether it's going to happen or it doesn't happen. It's like, you're just doing what you need to do, for yourself and for your monies and for your own regulation of the energy and of the paperwork and of, like the organization of it all. Like, you're just doing what you can possibly do. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? And quote unquote, this is what I'm hearing, it's your saving grace. It's where your energy is going to go towards while you're kind of quote unquote in the waiting period to see if anything does arise from the sort. So the answer right now is no. It's not a rejection. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just literally taking out the emotion and just saying, listen, with all like the mind like logicalness that is there, this is not the right time. And you have to own that within yourself as well. I think that's the biggest key. And so, you know, self-acceptance, then owning it, and then relaxing in that, you know, entire idea of this is how it's going to be. By the way, if you are finding it very hard to do that, you need to absolutely start to and begin to start meditating. So the whole thing is, that's something that you need to do, especially now in Libra season, because first of all, that came up as signs for me, you know, first and foremost. But second of all, I just have, yeah, you did. That's so funny. And so, long story short, so that was coming through a lot in terms of Libras really strongly, because they are linked to thinking a lot and overthinking a lot and logicalness a lot. They need to somehow sit in meditation, and sometimes you can't, because let me just tell you something, you can't sit in meditation, and Libra season is going to be a little hard for you to sit in meditation, because of the fact that it is a little bit of an ADD energy, right? So my whole thing is just get creative with it. Just do what you got to do in terms of, like, for instance, if you find, like, I don't know if I just mentioned it. Sorry, my mind went somewhere else. I'm talking about ADD here. It's so funny. So my whole thing is, if you literally go do something creative, like Libras absolutely need something creative to do all the time. So this is something that you have to kind of consider for yourself, so you have to, like, just go Google, since we're all about research these days, go Google what meditation can be. Somebody had said, recently, I'm just going to go into it a little bit. Recently, somebody had posted a video on YouTube, which I love, that said your meditations don't have to be perfect. And I haven't really clicked into the YouTube video just yet, but my whole thing is, when it comes down to it, that statement right there as a title of a YouTube video is super true. So if you can, and my whole thing is, meditation has just come, like, to me in this way, where let's say you go outside and the light is a little too blinding, right? Like, the sun is a little too blinding. The whole thing is, just close your fucking eyes. Just literally close your eyes for, like, and you don't even have to concentrate on your breathing. You don't even have to concentrate on, you know, like, anything else, but just simply feel when your eyes are closed, and just shut yourself off for such a second is what I wanted to come out. So that will do you a whole lot of good in terms of just sitting there and you can do that for it, like, frequently throughout the day. When you feel like your energy stamina is a little low, you close your fucking eyes and you go you plop yourself on a couch, you close your eyes, try not to fall asleep, but if you fall asleep, it's okay. That's also doing meditation perfectly. And so, and I said that like directly, like, it's perfect if you fall asleep. Some people berate themselves like, oh, I fell asleep during meditation. No, that shit is allowed. Your body needs to fucking lax. And I know a lot of you Libras don't even like taking naps. So the whole thing is, if your eyes, by 5 minutes, you close, like, and actually, I know this is going a little too far, but my whole thing is, if you can self-manage yourself by putting on a timer as if you would for cooking, you know, to, like, basically put it on for, like, 5 minutes, it'll fucking wake you up. You know what I'm saying? So put it on for 5 minutes, try closing your eyes, not even for that long, and, like, and basically it'll wake you up. So don't get scared that you don't deserve a fucking nap here and there, because you do deserve a nap here and there. You know what I'm saying? And so what I want to say here is, if you also feel a certain way, you're going to have to say no to different things. Like, for instance, if you feel like you need to take a nap, right, then say no to something outside of yourself that's pulling on your energy. If you feel like you need water and something's pulling your energy in a different direction, you need to really fight for the water. Like, that's basically the type of energy that we're in. And today might be a little bit more of that, where it's like, you know, again, a lot of freedom. I could do like 7,000 different things at one time. You know, your inner child is wanting to just fucking sprawl out and like really, you know what I'm saying? Like, just sprawl out. But what was I gonna say? Like starfish, basically, in all aspects of your life. But the whole thing is reel it back in and become more so of like a tight, I don't know, octopus. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do some shit like that, you know? The next card, which is for tomorrow up until 3 p.m., is look for a sign. This is going to be a quick moving energy. This is going to be a very highly depicted look for a sign in terms of thank you, Spirit. So this is so funny, I just have to mention this. As I'm doing this reading, I literally got to close my eyes. So that's a beautiful thing. It's like now I'm feeling it. And oh, this is why this all had to happen, because I had to mention that when you close your eyes, you begin to feel. And feeling is what's going to give you the right logical thing to do for yourself, which is all about what Oprah is about. What's the next highest and best and right thing to do for myself? So if you don't know, you know what I'm saying, what to do or how to do it, go into a bathroom, go into a small space, which, by the way, I'm going to start putting out like little like mini spaces. I actually want to I deserve to begin to feng shui small spaces for basically inviting you in to just relax. So it's like small mini relaxation spaces that are either, you know, set up for your meditation and or creativity and or, you know, kind of like a booth area. Like, I feel like I want to, that's been coming up, so I'm gonna post about that. I really should write that down. But that's what's been coming up since yesterday, is that's something that's really highly beautiful, because if you don't have it set up, you're never gonna fucking get a quiet space, right? So my whole thing is, a quiet space needs to be set up so that you can just learn how to chill. And the thing is, meditation kind of does need to be learned, but how are you going to learn if you don't have a set up space? It's kind of like doing homework without a desk, you know, or reading or studying without an actual, you know, standard or dedicated place for it. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, I'm definitely going to start to do that. I'm going to put that service out there. Let me just put, I'm writing it down. And this is also what I'm going to call a healthy timeout space, okay? So, like, for instance, if you guys are, if you guys have kids, right? And you know how people are, like, not about, like, beating the shit out of their kids or whatever when they're bad? Which I'm semi not about, but that's just me. My whole thing is, you can have a healthier space. You can create a healthier space by literally setting up a meditation space, and it can be, in your mind, a timeout space for your child. But also, when you go tell a kid, go into a corner, quote unquote, and turn around and face the wall, quote unquote, and like just sit there in silence, quote unquote, that's a meditation, okay? But instead of it being such an asshole way of doing it, there's actually a kinder way of doing it, which is more, and maybe it's not to be associated with, oh, you're in trouble, go meditate, but the kid will actually not mind doing that. Like, I feel like it's gonna help rather than hinder, you know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, it's like, a kid does need, like, when a kid is out of whack and we as, you know, adults are out of sorts, you literally need a space to go and chill in. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it can't be the couch, because the couch, for instance, is all too loud and noisy due to it being near a TV. You know what I'm saying? So this could be done in every room in the house. It could be done in one corner. That's what I'm going to start putting out there, because I feel like it really unites both the adults and the children together under one roof. And maybe the adults won't do it. Maybe it's just the children. But I know the adults, if they have a space and they see their kid doing really fucking good, they're going to be like, oh shit, I think I need to start meditating because my kid's like turning like real well. And, you know, and that energy just exudes. You know what I'm saying? So, and it not only exudes, it's contagious. So whoever does the meditating first, whoever starts it, doesn't fucking matter. It's the meditation energy is within the house. It's within the space, right? The mini space, but then also the house. So I'm putting that out there today as a service. And at least we can start doing that in terms of if you're not ready to declutter like an entire, you know, an entire home or entire room or whatever. It's like, it's okay. It's just a little corner like of your room, a little, you know, fucking not a lot of space, but just like, you know, maybe however big a bookshelf is, right? Like that's the amount of space that you need, right? A little cozy space, a little cozy spot. So cozy nook, yeah, cozy nook. Oh my god, I love that. That's so me. That's so me. Cozy nooks, cozy nooks. And who knows? Maybe Snooks is gonna be the first one. Cozy nook for Snooks. Okay, just saying, just saying. All right. So anyhow, all right. So I had to write that down. And so, yeah, so the no is just a boundary that you have to put up. Also, whenever I think of no, I think of Nola. And I don't know what's going on with those energies. More so, okay, I see the green in it for the healing. And maybe it's the colors, but really depicting the green more so. So there's a heart healing going on within. Wow, that's so interesting. Within you expressing your heart and saying no. So today there's also a heart healing going on with not the right time. And then like maybe you're going to give yourself some time to then actually come to the conclusion of no, I have to express this. No, you can't do this to me. No, I can't go there. No, don't do that. Like that type of thing. But also, let me just tell you something. We have to be super okay with being a nagster. Like, I don't care what anybody says. At this point, a lot of people think that it's like, oh, such a negative thing to be a nagging type of person. And I understand why. I see why. But at the same time, the person that is saying no is the person that is conscious of the limitations and of the consequences. And actually, the person that is saying no is more so healthier than the person that is saying yes all the time. But with the nagging doesn't have to do with how annoying you are. And maybe it does, but I have to think it over. But the whole thing is, the only reason why you're being depicted as annoying is because your tone is not backing up your no. So if you mean no. Do you understand how I just said that? You can't be like, no. Or you can't be like, no, don't do that. No, it's not a high pitch. A no is not a high pitch. No is a low pitch. No. That's how you speak. That's how Cesar Millan does it. That's how he teaches it. And that's how it naturally just needs to go. You have to align with your no's. You cannot, so my whole thing is my no is usually neutral into like a low no, like absolutely not no. You know what I'm saying? But if you're like, no, it's like, it's not, it needs to come from the heart. The no needs to come from the heart. And I think a lot of the times when we're not in the, quote unquote, in the no of saying no, right? We're not coming from the heart when we're doing it. We're coming from it mentally which is they might not even be listening to me. Do you get what I'm saying? So they might not listen to what I have to say. They might not care about what I have to say, because what if you were labeled the nagger the entire time, right? So this is the time where you get to put some boundaries to yourself to be like, you know what, we're going to do this a little differently. We're going to change it up. We're going to start to, I'm not going to blame myself for not knowing better. I'm going to actually encourage myself to do better when I know better, right? So the no also means not just no, but also means the knowledge of the no, right? So that's something that I wanted to come at you with. And so maybe that was where the heart healing is. Your heart needs to be heard when you're saying no, you know? Oh. And now you do know. I'm really, I don't know if the energies are just doing this to me, but like literally I'm backtracking for a second to not the right time. And maybe that's what you're going to have to say as a backup to it is no, not the right time. No, this is not the right time. Because sometimes a lot of people are very scared to just say the simple word no. And they have to back it up with some sort of like functioning excuse, like a believable excuse, like that type of thing. So that's something that you might have to say, no, it's not the right time. Also, you know, something that I learned recently, I'm trying to pick back up on, is when it was, the way that it was expressed was really nice. It was like, no thank you, no thank you. That was really something that was taught to me recently, and not like, you know, originally taught, but like the meaning of it was taught to me recently, where if somebody says, you know, hey, can I borrow money from you? Or hey, you know, it basically like where they want you to be involved in a very odd like way, like you feel a little uneasy about it. No thank you, but good luck with that, right? That's how you can say that. No thank you, but, you know, I wish you luck with that. That is like such a big way of just saying no. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we might have to do the bigger no's, you know, because like I said, the moon is in the Aquarius. Things might have to be done a little bit more extra, a little bit more larger, a little bit more extended. So it might not be the yin and simple no. You might have to say no thank you, but, you know, best of luck to you. No thank you, but I hope that works out for you. No thank you, you know, it's not the right time, you know, or just no, it's not the right time, but thanks for asking, right? Like I always love doing that because it does take courage. You want to, you don't, the no's don't have to be so rejection filled on an emotional basis. It just has to be an answer that is understood, right? Just an answer that is understood. So an answer is basically a form of communication, and it just has to be topically and also understood deeply. But the whole thing is, it's not your problem if somebody has a reaction to the no that you are siding with, right? Because the no is also self-love in many ways, more so than yes. And a lot of the times, based on feeling, you and I love this is the season. If I can tell you, this is such a yes season because Libras are natural yesers, and if you are a female, you're gonna be doubly, you know, kind of yes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, if you kind of show up being your bitch-like self, which is going to counteract a lot of that, and maybe more so accepting that in a larger way in your life, you know, for this season, or especially for the next 1 or 2 days, you're going to see how well you're going to feel with taking your power back, right? With having your power still be within yourself and not giving it all away. There was some, and yeah, so that's basically what I want to say, especially in females. This is going to be a yes season for you where you're going to want to say yes to everything. But the whole thing is the answer to your yeses is a no. I don't know how else to express it. It's like whenever you think of, yes, I want to do that. Okay, yes, I want to do that, but also add a no to it, right? Which is, add a no into the mix and then think about it, right? So, and which basically will give you also a no, or more time to think about it. Actually, thank you, Spirit, because it's 10 o'clock. Amen. That was a sign. And also what I wanted to say about this no was, this is your season of working on that shit. Like, if you're a divine feminine and you're saying yes to everything, but really you're feeling like, maybe I should, like, after, let's say you say yes to something, you quote unquote say, which, by the way, if you say yes to something, it doesn't mean that you're fully committed, just to let you know. It's like, I think people have that really twisted. It's like, yes just means that you're open to it. Yes doesn't mean like, and I think we got that twisted ever since we were younger. Like, we think it's that clean cut, but like, there's always maybe a deeper knowing to it and or a larger knowing to it. So like, if a kid, for instance, would say like, hey mom, can I have this, can I have something? You're going to say yes, but the kid doesn't have to pull on your heartstrings, dude. Like, the kid can know, and it's healthy for the kid to know that, yes, they can get that. However, I learned this such a long time ago, and I fucking love it, where I heard a mom in a store say, yeah, you can get that, but put it on your wish list, right? And the kid would be like, okay, sounds good, because it's not a no, it's a yes, but put an action to it. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I think that's super smart, because it's not like you're telling your kid, no, they can't get it. It's like, no, you're opening up their world. Yes, they can get it. And yes, you are being a good mom by saying yeah. But the whole thing is, there's a counteracting no, which is more of a regulation of sorts, but also works in the mom's favor to be like, okay, my kid, I know that if my kid writes this shit down, A, it's a wish come true for him eventually, because obviously he's in the form of manifesting it. But B, it's also for me to know in terms of when his birthday comes up or a holiday, I know what to get him, and he'll manifest it that way, right? So the whole thing is, don't think a yes or a no is such a concrete answer. There might be an action to it. That's what I'm saying. Whenever you think of something as a pure yes, you have to think about the consequences and the actions that you have to take towards doing that. It's kind of like event planning, like whatever. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just gonna say that this is the season to learn boundaries, and I might also be open to giving a boundary like workshop, but I don't know how that would work out because I've never given a workshop. But I guess that would be in the works for the future, just not the right time for right now. You know what I'm saying? And that is fine, and as long as I write it down, I'm telling the universe I'm open to your ideas. I am yes to your ideas, but I just don't know if I can manage that right now with all that I know that is on my plate, So, which, by the way, hilarious. This is so funny. Okay. All right, hold on. So I'm coming up with a really hilarious things to do. This is so fun. Okay, so my life is so fun. I'm super grateful for that. Even in the imperfection, honestly, it's super fun. And I'm grateful that it can be that way, because life is not always it's never gonna be perfect, honestly, but the perfection is in the fun. And how fun you make it, honestly. If you can create that in your life, you're already living perfection, honestly. So for tomorrow, look for a sign is really going to be it's going to be very large. In terms of, it's going, like, if you can say not the right time today, and basically know in your midway happy way into tomorrow, right? Then you're going to see most likely a confirmation sign that you were in the right of saying no to that, okay? So, also, I don't know why I'm like thinking of scammers. So there might be like some sort of scam that you might be, you know, privy to, which by the way, you fucking scammers out there, let me just tell you something, on all different levels. In terms of, I'm talking about sometimes we don't know what we're doing because we're not all in control of what we're doing, right? So if the unconscious scammers, like the ones that were maybe raised by scammers or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand you guys. Like I understand that is something maybe learned or something, whatever. Like there's a compassion there, right? But I'm talking about like salespeople that are like just really, you know, not even salespeople, but just like because scammers are they are a bit different from salespeople, even though salespeople and scammers can both be categorized under sleaziness, but it's not. And there's something that I want to like mention to you, and I don't know if this is a part of your sign, but let me just tell you something. If you can be yourself, which is more so being comfortable in speaking up and expressing your no's, right? Your boundaries, you will see that you can gain more followers and more friends that way. And I feel as though Libras need friends. And I'm talking about for real friends, like for real, not the users, because again, I don't know, again, that has a lot to do with the scammer things. So because a lot of Libras, I noticed, they have friends because they are willing to do stuff for other people in terms of show up in a helpful way, right? Which people don't realize is kind of a little, like it's a weird controversial way to put it, but I'm going to put it anyway. It's also super negatively selfish, right? It's like you're showing the universe that you're only good for that, you know, and you're only going to get friends by actually giving your, you know, time and energy, and like basically it's kind of like it limits you to then have to always show up for a friend in a helpful manner instead of just being who you are, right? And being accepted for who you are as a friend. So this is what I'm trying to say here is like, and actually I don't ever know what I'm trying to say. It comes from spirit. So I'm going to let that shit go. But my whole thing is, I think I just do more of the forming of it, but that also is people pleasing, you know? So it is a people pleasing type of way, thank you, Spirit. There's always a reason to where the fuck we go, and the run around to it, you know what I'm saying? And maybe you might also be getting a run around from a type of scammer like person in the next, you know, today into tomorrow. But my whole thing is, here's a story that I wanted to tell you. Yesterday I was out. And, you know, and it was kind of interesting because I was thinking that I was going to go see one client, and it ended up being like a full-blown fucking, like a party-like feeling, which was so cool. So, but it's funny because there was a couple of people talking, and they were talking about how one of the people in their buildings is just fucking loony, right? And they were talking about, by the way, loony and lunatic energy is also in the air with Libra season. That is something that's something to literally be aware of. So my whole thing is, in light of that, in light of the looniness, they were saying, like, we were outside, and of course, you know, outside is a public space, so you can't really control that. But this loony person that they were talking about ends up coming into the space that we were in, doing these, you know, these, I guess, like, business transactions, right? That we were having a full-blown party with. So it was so much fun. By the way, if you guys are on here, ever follow me, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for yesterday. And so, long story short, I made a comment because I was reflecting on it yesterday and I was laughing to myself. I made a comment, and here's the thing, I just want to let you guys know, it's like, it's time to let your New Yorker out, okay? So my whole thing is, and when I say New Yorker, I'm talking about the fucking bitch ass nastiness that you are in terms of being of a New York mindset sometimes. Like, you know, New Yorkers can be super real in their helpfulness, and that's what we want from all people. But there are those people that are just like they're like addicted to helping because that is just what their worth is in, you know? And my whole thing is take your worth out of it and then just be you. Go do what you need to do for yourself, because there's so, guys, if you fucking know what it takes to pay your fucking taxes, dude, I don't understand how we are fucking giving all this time and energy away from, you know, organizing all that shit. And like, you know, and I'm actually pretty good with my shit, but like lately, since I've been doing a lot of traveling, like it's been a lot. But my whole thing is, it's like, dude, many of us don't have it together all the time. And my whole thing is, get yourself to fucking together by giving yourself back the power and the time and the kindness and all of that by telling somebody else no, right? So going back to my story, they called in a person they're like, oh, here comes the loony bin, blah, 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 right? And I was like, and I literally said out loud as I was doing, I said, oh, hell no, we're not dealing with any type of loony energy, not at all, right? And I said something along those lines, but in that tone, in that way, like meaningful, like, hell no, we're not allowing that shit in here. I think that's what I said. Not here, not here. I was like, I literally said no. I was like, not here, you ain't having that shit. Like, not while I'm here, right? Like, we ain't doing it, you know? Because, and I said something along the lines, like, not negative crazy, like, negative crazy better stay the fuck out. Like, so I said something along those lines, but like, literally it was a no tone, and it was like a hell no, and it was not doing it, not today. Like, what is it when people say it on Instagram? It's like, not today, devil, not today, or some shit like that. Not today, Satan. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Not today, Satan. So anyhow, I did one of those, right? And it was out loud because I was like, there was so much going on, you know, in terms of a party mode and, you know, good vibes, and also me taking on so much in terms of, not taking on so much, but like, I was taking on a lot in terms of having to focus and concentrate and having a lot of people around. And I was like, oh, hell no, we are not handling crazy ever when that type of stuff goes down. You got to keep it super clean, right? And then all of a sudden, some person that was there, which I thank you also extra, was like, because I didn't even realize what I was doing. I was still like in like work mode, and that person was like, I guess like at one point, like, you know, because other people were resting while I was in work mode, which is fine because that's what I showed up to do. But I think, I heard like from the side of my ear, like that, or one side of myself, I don't know how you want to put it, that like there was something that clicked in a person that was there, and he was like, wait a second, he was like, wait a second, because it's like, I show up as a quote-unquote Avon lady, and like, you think it's gonna be like all like fucking rainbows and shit, and here I am like, oh hell no, we're not doing that shit, right? So all of a sudden, this dude was like, what the fuck? And he even said, he goes, I think I like the Avon lady, like, in a sense of like, you know, because my attitude was so real and so raw, you know? But like, honestly, and normally when you sell shit, right, quote unquote salesman, whatever mentality is like to be fake and to fucking get all their fucking sales and this and that. And meanwhile, my mentality is completely different. Sales ain't gonna change me. Like, it's not gonna change me at all. If anything, it needs to help me. And selling is about positivity. It's not about anything negative. So like, long story short, and it was funny because I realized who my natural, who my natural people were in terms of clientele. And then this person came from the outside, which was a contrast, which was quote unquote balance, right? To show me the difference. And it was funny because I was acting differently due to the energy, right? Like, and and so I'm not going to berate myself, and I'm not going to say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, like, I kind of sort of went into that, but I was like, I'm not going to berate myself, and I'm not going to say, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. That was a little rude. No, what's rude is that this person did think that they were a part of this, you know, scenario. They got in on it. I had to do some extra work, and, you know, for them to get in on the fun of the Avon thing. And it made me come out of my face, like maybe like once or twice in a very harsh way, but I was like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Like, because I really don't, like, I think, you know, it's one of those things, like, loony is gonna get loony from me, right? But my whole thing is, when loony comes out, I am going to literally over loony you. So my whole thing is, I judge myself a little bit to be like, oh, that's not cute, like, da-da-da-da. But at the same time, what if that's all spirit sent, so that loony can know you need to retract your looniness, and you need to heal your looniness, because there are more fucking Looney Tunes out there that are more than you know, in terms of, like, you exist, but then there's, like, loonier than you. So kind of more so, like, if I don't act loony, I might not be able to teach and or protect somebody else from their own looniness if it gets out of hand too much, right? And the whole thing is, I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, my whole thing is, this person that came at me that was, like, the quote-unquote loony, okay, I'm not gonna, Spirit's saying not getting into it. So, my whole thing is, I don't care who you are. I come at energy with my own energy and how it has to come out, but it's also in very much so a long-term practice of being able to say no to my loved ones, harshly so, and also to people outside of me, harshly so. And the whole thing is, it gets you your actual friends, because a lot of people don't want to show their, like, crazy fucking side, or, like, their negative or dark side to other people. I'm seeing black and white right now. But, you know, they don't want to show that as a actually foundational basis of who they are. They want to be, like, loved by their, you know, because they are the light, because they are shiny, because, you know, they seem like they have it all together. But not a lot of people are willing to get to the nitty gritty of, like, listen, I'm imperfect, and I still love myself at my imperfections. And yet you are going to love me whether or not I'm perfect, whether or not I show up imperfect, which is, you know, looking homeless, or working with the homeless, or all that jazz, or, you know, not wanting to fucking do myself up one day, you know, or every other day, or whatever, batshit crazy, like, however the fuck I feel, I'm gonna do it. And, you know, and or you're gonna love me at the same rate, like, whether or not I look, you know, not put together, and or whether or not I fucking show up to a gala that is fucking just like a fucking Cinderella. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna love me the same, but what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna love me just for my Cinderella aspects of myself, because that shit is scary. And that goes for men and women. That shit is scary. That shit is like, you know, a dream world that can't last for a long time. But I'm gonna tell you, and realistically speaking, things are going to happen in life where you're going to not want to fucking get up and get dressed, not want to fucking get up and do your makeup, not want to fucking deal with people. And, you know, there's oh my God, I have to just share this because this is hilarious. A friend of mine had sent me a fucking story. Oh, yo, bro, I was fucking laughing so hard. And this is what's coming up right now, is like, so DJ Khaled, right? He's all about positivity and da-da-da-da-da, right? And so, but it's hilarious because DJ Khaled, on a real life essence, I don't care who the fuck you are and what the fuck you look like. I just, you know, I don't care. But my whole thing is, on a realistic aspect of it, like, DJ Khaled is heavy. He's a heavy set guy. His wife was doing fucking kickboxing in their backyard. And, like, the kickboxing, she's going at it. And, you know, when you're fucking working, right? You're putting work to it. And, like, you know, you appreciate the enthusiasm from somebody else to try to lift you up. But after a while, when you know that you're the only one putting an effort like that, that's, like, really fucking tough, you know, which, because it's all physical, and yet there's somebody from the sidelines like trying to pump you up, knowing that it's not easy, but yet is doing the easy part by like, I'm just gonna, you got this, da 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 da, right? Like it can get fucking annoying, because you're like, how about you meet me halfway? How about we do this together? How about you fucking take a punching bag or whatever, kickboxing lesson? And she went off on him. She was, by the way, it's counting me down. She went off on him. She was like, can you just shut the fuck up? Da 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 da. And I was laughing because, you know, DJ Khaled expresses a lot of like, so much positivity. But that thing right there made me love them even more because of the fact that they were real. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys. Have a great day and say no. Bye.